The college football experience, Dantabase top 25 for week 10, and also early look ahead at the Maxin games that kick off tomorrow night on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog's hooking up new customers. Play just $5. Get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. So do that, and remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience, Dantabase top 25 edition for week 10. And Maxin's kick it off tomorrow night, Tuesday night. This is that episode. Folks, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, well, first, get on over to youtube.com/thecollegeexperience. Click that like and subscribe button. And if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Dantabase Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
Oh boy, we got college hoops back. I've been just watching hours of college hoops. It's been fucking fantastic. Make sure you check out the college basketball experience. Because it has been a fun day. I am joined by my co-host. He is also the host of the college basketball experience as well. Give it up for Farmer Stafford at Austin Peay with the Governors, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and West Virginia with the Mountaineers. Ryan McIntyre, aka Moneyline Mac. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Yes, college hoops here. College football still going. What a time to be alive. Cheers.
Yes. I mean, dude, this is the tough part, you know. This is Bethune sends it to overtime. Fantastic.
So you paid the big bucks.
Carla and the doctor. Yeah, this is the time of year, man. It's just basketball, football, thriving. But this is our weekly Dantabase top 25 edition, and obviously we're going to dive into Maxin. But so let's just start there. But before we get to all of that, we got news. The Auburn Tigers yesterday, after we did our reaction show, pulled the plug on Hugh Strip Club Freeze after he only scored 3 points at home against Kentucky, which normally I think will get you fired. But Mac, I want to ask you a couple things here. A, did you think they should have fired him? B, what do you think they do? And C, how good is the Auburn job? Because I kind of feel like they're fucking crazy there. So yeah. I know there's talent, they spend money, but it's like, I wonder in this new day and age, just like I kind of talked about with LSU, there's similarities, but I think Auburn's even crazier, right? I tend to call me crazy because I listen to all these other things. I read, top 10 list on, I don't consider this a great job. I mean, it's a decent job because it's in the SEC, you're around talent, but I would rather coach I know Drinkowitz, I saw on someone's list. I think you're better off at Mizzou than you are at Auburn. Am I crazy?
I think that they're similar with the way that it's changed with the NIL. The history.
Why put yourself through that?
Yeah, well, and to your point, this fan base is nuts. He went 15-19, 6-16 in SEC plays. Yeah, I thought he should have actually been fired because the way that they ran out Brian Harsin, right before that, which was ridiculous and just dragged his name through the mud. Harsin was better than Freeze. Harsin had a better record.
Harsin like never had a chance, in my opinion, dude.
Yeah, it just they didn't like him. They didn't think he fit, and they said, "All right, we'll just start making rumors about your personal life and just drag you through the mud." I don't think it's that good a job. It's the second best job in the state of Alabama behind the Tide, and I think there's a lot better SEC jobs. I think it's hard. I think it's a hard job now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, you could argue and say, dude, this is a job that's won national championships. You have, all right, more power to you. But I think the game has changed, and I think if there's similar vein with LSU. Now, I think LSU is a better job than Auburn, but I keep hearing these things. Like I was, reading an article saying this is a top 15 job in America. I disagree. I don't think it is anymore.
Yeah,
Because I think your expectations are fucking insane. Right, your expectations are insane. The amount of pressure that you're stuck into, and then you are the second team in the state. I know that you'll have funding, but at the same time, I just feel like it is why if you're Drinkowitz, like in the hypothetical here, like I was reading that he should be one of their top candidates. Why would you even leave? Like you got people in Columbia, Missouri, like love you right now because you've got that program going. Why I know that okay, more money is more money, but I just feel like you could be good at Mizzou for 10 years, whereas like Auburn, you have like you might get more money for a year or two, but when you start to lose, you're gonna be gone. Yeah.
They turn on you quick down there, and it takes a special somebody to win at Auburn. I mean, their national championship, it was such a unique run, and then the other one, the way that they got to the national championship with all the crazy shit that happened, the kick six return in the Alabama game, the Georgia tip ball, like the stars have to align. You're not going to be a national championship contender year after year at Auburn. It's not Alabama, and I know they hate hearing that.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I kind of liked Auburn growing up, and like I have nothing. I just think it's the thing is leveled. Even Lane Kiffin, like I know he's not rumored. I haven't seen him rumored to Auburn this time, but the previous time.
Yeah. Why would you leave Ole Miss for Auburn?
Well, they're saying that like him to LSU or him to Florida, and I'm like, I don't even know, because Florida's in a similar vein of Auburn where they just can't find their footing recently, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a better gig anymore. Like, okay, Florida's in-state talent is better. But how much does that really matter now when there's NIL like above the I don't know. It's an interesting question of like if you were to power rank these jobs, through all the Power 5, I would wonder. I don't think I would have Auburn top 15 anymore, which sounds crazy. I like even myself, I question that myself, but because you're like, wait, this team's won, natties. Why wouldn't they, Colby? But I just think so. I think so. I wouldn't take it. Let me ask you this. Do you think Wisconsin's a better job than Auburn?
No, I don't. I think the Wisconsin job and those northern schools with adding the California schools, I think that in Oregon and Washington, I think that's become a hard ass job now.
Okay, what about Washington? Is Washington a better job than Auburn?
Washington might be,
because that's a similar team. They've won natties.
Yeah, they won a natty.
Played in playoffs, multiple playoffs.
Yeah,
2 4-team playoff appearances.
Yeah,
it's just an interesting question of like where the fuck would you put Auburn in that?
I'd say top 25, but like you said, like it's not a destination job like they make it out to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gotten worse is my point. And I think you can say the same for LSU in Florida.
Yeah. It's not the best job in its own state. That's usually not a good start.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just hot potato right now. Who are they going to hire to replace him?
I was just thinking
everyone's saying John Sumrall. That's on the list.
Would Sumrall go there? Can he get one of the better ones?
I think he's from Alabama. He grew up in Alabama, so I think he might.
What about Dan Mullen? He's had success in the SEC. Like,
I don't think that's a sexy name for them because they just lost to New Mexico.
True. Maybe they should hire. Who'd be a great hire? James Franklin.
Why would he do that to himself?
I know.
Why would he do that to himself?
But like for what Auburn wants, James Franklin would be awesome. 8-9 wins, although they would never beat Alabama and they wouldn't win the Natty, but he'd win 9 games.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying Trent Dilfer in the chat.
We also got other news over the past few days. I think this one was on Saturday, but I think we failed to address it, or maybe we briefly talked about it. Kent State removed the interim tag on head coach Mark Carney. He is now their head coach. Shout out to him, man. No one would ever give him coach of the year, but I think we should do SGPN awards because he would be a fucking nominee for me.
I tweeted that. I said he's done as good a job as anybody in the country. I don't care what his fucking record is. Anybody that knows that program, they're so bad, and he's made him competitive. They're a 500 team in the MAC.
Yeah, man. And even they almost beat Buffalo, one of the preseason favorites. Yeah, good work. And now with stability, I think he might even be able to be even better. So,
yep.
All right, look, folks, want to tell you that you are listening to the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Do not forget the College Basketball Experience will be coming on next. But also, look, college basketball tipped off today. So make sure you subscribe to the College Basketball Experience to catch their daily podcast and download the SGPN app for free to get all of our college basketball picks. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. Mark Carney for the Auburn job. He'd probably be a great hire.
They would run him. They'd run him out of town so quick he couldn't be sexy enough for him.
Shout out to It's Eric. Say this is my favorite TCE SGPN show of the week. Wow.
Because we talked about nothing.
Yeah, I like talking about nothing.
Yeah.
We do have something though. I feel like we should play some music here.
Yeah, let's do it. Maxin.
Yes, 100%. We got the originators of the weekday, Tuesday, Wednesday spot, playing in zero domes, right? All outdoors, all through the great state of Massachusetts now, New York, Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. We got Maxin, baby. It is back. It is November, and Maxin kicks ass. Man, listen to that guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Some Japanese guy in Japan just killing it on these Tecmo Super Bowl music. We got a fire game going on tomorrow night. If you know college football really well, you know that there's a hardcore rivalry called the Battle of the Bricks. And right now, I think it might pertain the two best teams in the fucking conference.
No shit. This is a hell of a game to start.
This is a great fucking game. The series goes back to 1908, Miami, Ohio, which red hot, started 0-3, 5 straight wins, best defense in the MAC, and veteran quarterback play DeQuan Finn, who's no stranger to Maxin. He used to be at Toledo. So Ohio on the other side of things. Obviously, they stuck it to your Mountaineers week 2, right before the brawl. And they were dominating Ball State for 3 quarters before Ball State pulled a Matt Ryan and somehow won 20-14. But that was their lone loss. They are 3-1 in the conference. This is honestly, like, if you told me to power rank the MAC, these would be my top 2 teams. However, I kind of think if Miami, Ohio wins this game, this will not be a preview of the MAC championship.
Yeah.
Because Ohio would have a second loss then, which you could still get into the MAC championship historically with a second loss. But I think this game's awesome, dude. I actually think this is like, if you had to power rank the whole games for the week, I think this is a top 20 game. Obviously DeQuan Finn going up against Parker Navarro. This is elite quarterback play. These are the best two fucking teams in the MAC. All right, like without question. I don't even think there's. I mean, I know Western and Central are playing better than we think, and Toledo's just a weird team that's capable of beating anybody, but also losing to anybody. This is a fire fucking game. Ohio is laying 2.5 points. The over under at 50.5. Ohio beat them in the MAC championship a year ago at filthy. That's the only shitty thing about the MAC. They played their championship game at filthy Ford Field.
Beat them by 100.
38-3. I mean, dude, I just want to do a quick. I just want to take you through memory lane here, with the history of this game because, so last year Miami Ohio won 38-3, but in the regular season, I'm sorry, last year Ohio beat Miami Ohio 38-3 in the MAC championship. In the regular season, Miami Ohio beat them 30-20, and then the year before got them 30-16. So you look at like the past 6 matchups. This thing is dead even, 3-3. But ever since Frank Solich came to Ohio, he has kind of dominated this rivalry. He came in 06, I think it was 05, 06. They've only lost 5 times, but you got to remember Miami Ohio was going through some dark years before Chuck Martin turned that program around. I'm gonna lay it, but I don't feel very confident about it. But I'm gonna bet this because this game's by far the best game on. I mean, we're gonna be watching this in Duke, Texas, right? And of course the ECU, Duke, Texas basketball, and ECU, Georgia Southern. We get that, but I'm curious what you're doing here because I don't have a lot of. I kind of think Miami Ohio is playing better football right now than Ohio, and then you got the revenge from the MAC championship.
Yeah,
I'm laying it with Ohio though. It seems chalky. What are you doing here?
I'm gonna take the Redskins here. Last year embarrassed. I think you get the revenge angle. Both teams are coming off the mini bye week, so I'm gonna side with the better team, more proven coach. I think Chuck Martin's had this one fucking circled after the way they embarrassed him 38-3 in the title game. So give me the hotter team here, better coach, and revenge. Miami Ohio outright.
Oh, there we go. We got a battle to start things off in the Battle of the Bricks. Dundee on the Bobcats. Mac on the Redskins. So the MAC gives us the best game probably of the season. Honestly, like I don't know that there'll be a better matchup. Battle of I-75 is always great, but they give us the best game. Then
they gave us this fucking game.
They give us the worst game at the same time. UMass, and they both kick off at the same time. Choose wisely, right? UMass, the Minutemen are headed up to Akron, Ohio, to Infocision Field or some shit like that. Akron still got hopes to be bowl eligible, even though they can't make a bowl game because their team 3 years ago was dumb as shit. What a good job by the NCAA to penalize these current players or the players that had nothing to do with that. This line, Akron currently laying 9.5.
All right. What, like, when have they ever laid 9.5?
Now, here's the thing. You look at the remaining schedule, Mac. Bowling Green fired their offense coordinator today, right? Or yesterday, I think it was, right? Kent State is not, I mean, they're overachieving, but they're not a great team. So if Akron wins this game, they will be 4-6 with Kent State and Bowling Green left. They could go 6-6. If they go 6-6, they're not eligible to make a bowl under these dumbass rules. But you got to think Joe Moorhead would not be fired. I even think 5-7 they might not fire him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a huge game for Moorhead. On the other side with UMass.
First year head coach in November.
I mean, they just haven't shown signs of. That's the problem.
Except the Buffalo game.
Yeah, the Buffalo game they did. It's wacky Max. I got to take the fucking. No, I can't. They're so bad.
You can't lay 10 with Akron. They
9
just
and a
won.
half.
They just won as a 10-point underdog on the road. Now they're coming back home and they're laying it double digits. No way. I have to take UMass. Are they going to go 0-12? Really?
What does UMass got left? At Akron, home to Northern Illinois. At Ohio, home to Bowling Green. They could win any of those. Okay, I'll take the points. You're probably right. It's the Wacky Mac. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I just don't feel good about it. I think Akron. I was on Akron to beat Buffalo, or to cover against Buffalo. They ended up winning outright, but something reeks about this game being the spread this big. I will say most of the time I love dogs in Maxin play anything over a touchdown, but this line is like surprising to me. That makes me think we should take Akron. You see my angle?
Or they just see they're 0-8.
Maybe. But
I'm taking the points. I'm not like 10 ever with Akron.
I'll take the points too. It's the Wacky Mac, but I'm just a little weary of this line. But let's go to these Minutemen. Go to these fucking Minutemen. All right. Let's get to the Dantabase top 25. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football, and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none, and their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. You can easily deposit, get lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head on over to MyBookie.ag, and when you do use our promo code, that is TCESGPN, for 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. With Novig, you are getting the best prices because they're an exchange. You know that. Novig's available in 35 plus different states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code. That is SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. All right. The Dantabase top 25 is here. And
get the Novig off. There we go.
So I think at this point, when you reach November, you're going to see the college football playoff with that dumbass show they do on Tuesdays. But I do think it is harder. I don't like to credit these bozos, but I do think it is harder because now when you get this far in, you have lots of teams with lots of records with head-to-head battles against each other. So it makes it almost impossible to really put things together, right? I've always believed road wins are key. We should pay attention to those more than anything else. But you also should take in, if it's a terrible loss to a terrible team, you should factor that in to a certain extent. But I also think we should look at wins against teams with a winning record. That is very important to me, and I don't think we emphasize that enough. I think it's kind of a popularity contest, and it sucks that this much money is at stake when you have that. So I believe this Dantabase top 25 is the correct way to do this. Whether it's, I think if every voter went with the logic that I used, we would have a more honest top 25. At number 25, I have the Memphis Tigers. I know they're in the current driver's seat in the AAC, but they have the worst loss. I almost didn't rank them because that loss is so bad.
It is so bad.
Losing to UAB. They only that's got to be the worst. Is that the worst loss of the whole season? I think it might be.
23-point favorite. Yeah. At the FBS level, FCS is South Dakota State.
Against Indiana State, Larry Bird's alma mater. Yeah, so I had to put Memphis in here. They have a win against an SEC team. Troy is good in the Sun Belt. They have a win at Troy, and obviously the big win against South Florida at home. Yeah, so big stuff there with that. It's just a really bad loss. So I have Memphis at 25. At number 24, I got the Texas Longhorns.
They made it back in.
Yes. For me, I think this is the first time they've been ranked for me.
Yeah.
And the logic was this before. It was like they opened up the season with a loss, and then they really didn't beat anybody. And even now, there's going to be some drama in a second when you see who I have at 23. But they have 0, road wins against a team with a winning record. So that I think that, and in general, just they have 2 wins against teams with a winning record. But they deserve to be here based off of the resume. If you pay attention to game script and stuff, then you can make an argument that maybe another team should be ahead of them, like that isn't ranked. So I have the Longhorns at 24. At 23, start the drama. I have the Vanderbilt Commodores because
bias.
well, Texas just won wire to wire against Vanderbilt, but I think once again, if you can't just look at it, it's more complex than that. Look, I want to honor the head-to-head one the most as well, but at the same time, Vanderbilt's resume is better than Texas. Like their overall resume is better than Texas. And then, like, just if you combine the wins and everything, but also if you look at like these games, they've been up way more in their games. I mean, Vanderbilt's losses are at Texas and at Bama. Texas lost to a Florida team that's dog shit. You know what I mean? So like you have to factor that in. I know the head to head, I tend to like if they were just a little bit more similar. But the problem is Texas has played dog shit. You know what I mean? Like the non-con wins were absolutely dog shit. So yeah, I have Vandy ahead of Texas. Would you rank Vandy ahead of Texas, Mac?
Yeah, I think I would. They, like you said, they have better road wins. Texas is a hard team to gauge now because they've actually how do you factor in how they've looked over the last 4 weeks? Because it's a different team than it was a month ago. Because a month ago they were fucking awful, but they're
playing a lot better.
Yeah,
but and then how much does it matter that they beat Oklahoma when Mateer was not healthy? Like how much does it matter that they were down 17 in Starkville, and if Kentucky could score at the 1 yard, they won those games, and that's why they should be ranked, I think now.
Mm-hmm.
But eye test wise, I would say they looked the absolute worst out of anyone in the top 25. I would say that you're going to see on the sheet. No one has struggled with the shittiest competition like Texas.
Yeah, I mean they did not look good for an extended period of time, but they finally did look the part last week.
They did, which is why it's very hard to do this, because I can actually sympathize with some of the voters but I also think they just don't look at shit. At 22, I have USC. Wasn't the sexiest of wins against Nebraska, but you got it done. And you have 2 losses. These are all 2-loss teams here. You look at what they've done on the road. They lost to Notre Dame, but they lost to Notre Dame. They lost to Illinois. So both teams with winning records, but they have a home win against Michigan. That's really the reason why they're here. That in Nebraska is 2 wins against teams with winning records at the Power 5 level. If you do this exercise, you see how many teams don't have wins against teams with winning Power 5 records, which is pretty. I think we should all look at that. I think that tells a lot. So USC at 22 there. At 21, I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa's interesting because I almost feel like there's not a lot of meat on the bone, but they're winning, and their best win is against Minnesota, but they fucking destroyed Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's like 45-3 or something. What was that score? 42-3?
Yeah. Absolutely undress them.
And then when you factor in their losses to a super elite team, one of their losses was to Indiana in a game where they had the lead with 2 minutes left and their starting quarterback was knocked out of that game. I think that shit matters. And then their other losses to Iowa State, which was at Ames, but neither of those teams have a losing record. So I think that's why the Hawkeyes deserve to be there. Would you put Iowa ahead of USC, Mac? I'm curious.
Yes, because I mean, what's USC's best win? Nebraska
Michigan.
on the road?
Michigan.
Yeah, I guess Michigan.
Or
we don't know how
Nebraska.
good Michigan is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also Iowa, not that it's a moral victory because Iowa expects to win, but they have 2 losses by a combined 8 points at Iowa State when Iowa State was fully healthy and against Indiana, who's number 1 in the country.
And like that's a rivalry game, Iowa State. So I feel like that, and
they should have beat fucking Indiana if Gronowski doesn't get hurt.
I thought they were the better team in that game until the final. Like I thought they were the better team.
The only team that has played Indiana well.
Yeah. At number 20, I got the James Madison Dukes. They're a really hard team to evaluate because the Sun Belt seems to be a little bit down. But you know what really helps them is their loss. If you watch that Louisville game, they played Louisville fucking tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost at Louisville. So that's their lone loss on the season. So I have the Dukes of JMU at number 20. At number 19, I have TCU. TCU is another one that it's interesting just because they have 2 losses, the same as Iowa, or the same as all those teams we mentioned minus JMU, but their wins are a little bit better to me than that. Like if you're comparing resumes, first off, like their wins got better. They were ranked last week, but also some of their opponents won that they played. Like their resume actually, I thought, improved. Like West Virginia goes down to Houston, beats them, right? Yep. Baylor just whoops up on UCF. Arizona State beats Iowa State. SMU beats Miami. North Carolina beats Syracuse. So like their whole fucking resume. Even Abilene Christian took down Tarleton in the FCS ranks. Right, number 2 team in the nation. Their whole resume just took a major boost this past week, with the exception of their loss to Kansas State. But when you look at both losses, the thing that I would say is, if you followed that Arizona State game, once again they were up 90% of that game. In similar vein to Iowa, Indiana, I think even more actually. But yeah, my thing too is they've proven their value there with 2 big road wins as well. So TCU at 19, but I will say razor thin between them and Iowa. I had a hard time with them and Iowa. I had sitting there staring at the resumes, and I'm like, this. Even them and USC, I was struggling a little bit with.
Yeah. I might have had Iowa over TCU.
Well, I think if they're playing on a field, I would take Iowa to win the game. But the point is not to do that. The point is to look at the body of work. What do you think is more important here? Do you think Iowa smacking Minnesota is more impressive than beating SMU? I don't. I think beating SMU by double digits, or beating Baylor,
winning in Morgantown too.
Yeah, I mean, like it's razor thin to me. But I that was my deciding factor. Was I think the SMU win is better than the Minnesota win. But
yeah, and they won it. I mean, they won it in Morgantown the week before they went down and beat Houston too. So to your point, that win looks a lot better in hindsight.
Yeah. At number 18, I got the San Diego State Aztecs.
The greatest defense ever.
Unbelievable. Yeah, the 85 Bears here. That win over Fresno looks a lot fucking better. They shut out Fresno at Fresno 23-0, and then Fresno goes into Boise and skunks them on the Smurf turf. What? So the resume took a major boost there. Obviously, they also have the win against Cal where they won 34-0. What?
Hilarious.
So I got the Aztecs, who I don't think, by the way, I don't think they're getting enough hype for, like, everyone's mentioning Tulane and stuff. Why is no one mentioning San Diego State?
Because they're not sexy.
They should be in the same exact vein as all these other teams right now. I know they host Boise, I think, next week. That should be a huge game where they should get the credit for that, because if they beat Boise, I mean, why wouldn't they be in the vein? It's like they should be mentioned with the same vein as like Memphis or Tulane or whatever, South Florida. Shout out to the Aztecs at number 18.
It's just crazy that they got absolutely blitzed at Wazoo.
Yeah, but that's a hard place to win.
It is a hard place to win. It's just you just wish they were a little more competitive in the game.
I agree.
Shit happened. I mean, Cal got blitzed at San Diego State.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna be a bowl team. At number 17, I got South Florida. South Florida, man. When you really look at the road wins, first off, Texas couldn't win at Florida, but South Florida could.
Yep.
Right, and then you add in what they did to North Texas. What they did to North Texas is pretty fucking remarkable. And what they did to them, like how they did it to them. And their losses are at Miami. Now they did lose, get blown out of that game. That loss is looking worse. But the loss at Memphis by 3 on like final fucking seconds of the game. Okay, I thought it was kind of a neck and neck game. Similar vein to Iowa State or whatever, you know. So I have South Florida there at number 17. At number 16, I got the Fighting Irish. They actually dropped. They dropped, I think, 1 or 2 spots, and the logic was just it was a little bit of what the other teams' resumes did, and also the fact that Miami lost. So Notre Dame does not have a lot of meat on the bone. They need to hope. I mean, the A&M loss looks great because they lost by 1 to an undefeated team, but A&M didn't play this past week. But look at all the other teams, right? Boise got smashed by Fresno. Fresno looked better at Boise than Notre Dame did against Boise, right?
Hilarious.
Arkansas loses to Mississippi State. Purdue is Purdue, right? They lose again. Miami loses to SMU. The only thing that really helped them was USC beating Nebraska. And NC State did beat Georgia Tech, which NC State, moved to 5-4. So I guess that slightly helped them there. But it's more so what the other teams did that moved ahead of them. But I have Notre Dame at 16. So, and I cashed on BC in the points.
We both did against Bet Detective.
Yeah, let's go. And at number 15, the Houston Cougars. They dropped, but they didn't drop much, man. I really had a hard time with this.
Well, they lost to Scotty Fox.
I think they dropped 4 spots. Yeah, they lost, but you would think that's a bad loss by definition right now, which it is, right? The problem is if you're evaluating road wins, and then their other loss is Texas Tech, who's in the top 10.
Yeah.
Then, but the win at Arizona State to me is huge. That's an awesome win on the road in a lit environment against a team that might play for the championship. That's a better road win than almost everyone we've mentioned. That's why I put them, like, when I was evaluating this, I was like, what's the best road win? Right. USC at Nebraska, nice road win, but that wasn't dominant. Houston dominated that fucking game at Arizona State. I know the final score says 8, but they never trailed. That was wire to wire on the road against a top 25 team. So,
well, especially Texas Tech couldn't win there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that. I know the West Virginia loss looks bad, but I also think the road win, and they've hit the road a lot this year, by the way. I mean, some of its dog shit opponents, they have more road wins than everybody else behind them. So that was the logic. I'm putting Houston at 15. At number 14, I got the Oklahoma Sooners, and they jumped past Notre Dame. This is one that jumped past Notre Dame. And a lot of it was because Texas beat Vandy. So their loss looks better, and Ole Miss continues to be awesome, right? So their losses look good right now, respectable. And then the fact they just went into Tennessee and won. And another one is Michigan continues to win. You look at the resume. The resume actually took it like almost improved unanimously. I think Auburn was the only team that really shit the bed for them. So I had Oklahoma pass Notre Dame there. At number 13, I got the Utah Utes. I think this is the highest ranked 2-loss team that I have, and it's been that way pretty much all year, or at least for the past couple of weeks. And the logic here was that they just destroyed Cincinnati. Like, I mean, everybody when you beat a top 20 team by over 30 points, that's quite impressive. But also, they have the most road wins, right? And I think it's actually the best slate. And then you look at the losses. Okay, Texas Tech situation, they did lose at home to Texas Tech, but they're ranked in the top 10. Also, their quarterback wasn't healthy that game. Then they lose at BYU by 3. Very similar to the Iowa State thing, right? Very, very, very similar to me. So to me, the wins against Arizona State by 32, who's ranked currently, and Cincinnati by 31. Yeah. They also have a 33-point win against UCLA. I mean, they fucked these teams up, man.
Yeah. They destroy them.
West Virginia, they beat by 34. You know, like they're in Colorado by like 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, so they have been fucking these teams up. So I got the Utes as the highest ranked 2-loss team. At number 12, now we get the 1-loss teams. I have the Oregon Ducks, which this is where me and like the current rankings would strongly disagree, right? And this is why I believe our process is better here than anything that's currently out there. Oregon has really beat a bunch of trash. You know what I mean? Like what is Oregon's best win, Mac?
Oregon's best win is at Northwestern still.
Yeah. So look at these records. Oregon beat 1-8 Oklahoma State. Now they beat them by a shit ton, but
yeah,
1-8. Then you have Northwestern, who's 5-3. Oregon State is 2-7. Penn State is 3-5. They lost to Indiana, and then by double digits, by the way, at home. And then they blew out 4-5 Rutgers, and then they beat Wisconsin by 14, who's 2-6. They have nothing.
Yeah,
really. Northwestern is the one thing, and that's like a stadium that seats like 30 people. But I mean, I try to remove that from the equation. Right now, the Northwestern win is what they're clinging to. I think they should be the last ranked 1-loss Power 5 team.
They should agree with that. Yeah, they still get the hype because their name's Oregon, and when they do win, they run it up. They're all about style points there. They're about clicks, even though Dan Lanning doesn't want to admit it.
Or they wear 7 million different uniforms. They're the epitome of a team about clicks.
Yeah.
Next up, at number 11, I have the Louisville Cardinals, and I think that would be people. You know, I think would say, well, how do you have Louisville ranked ahead of Oregon? This is I feel like if they would just break it down like us, is the win at Miami better than anything Oregon has?
Easily.
I would argue beating James Madison is better than Northwestern. I think JMU would beat Northwestern if they played tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So then you're sitting there saying, well, okay, there's 2 wins there, right? They also lost to a Virginia team in overtime that is ranked in the top 10, right? So their one loss was in overtime to a team that is ranked ahead of them, right? And then they also have a win against 7-2 Pitt on the road.
On the road.
Dude, they have a very impressive resume, dude, in my opinion. I think that resume is pretty fucking good. So I got the Cards at number 11. At number 10, I have the Wahoos. This is one where the head-to-head did matter because when you look at Virginia's losses, first off, their lone loss was to a team with a winning record on the road in a game they were up 90% of the game. and it was by 4 points. They threw an interception in the end zone at the 2-yard line. But then you look at the rest of the resume. They have a win against Louisville. That's better than a lot of shit. They also have a 48-7 win against a Coastal Carolina team that's red hot right now, right? They also have a win against a team in Florida State that has a winning record, right? So they are kind of, and Cal is still 5-4. So they have, that's a nice road win too by double digits. So that was the logic on putting Virginia ahead of Louisville. Would you rank Virginia ahead of Louisville?
I would, because they beat them at Louisville too. Maybe it'd be different if it was at home, and they beat them like they did the Florida State game. But they went to Louisville and won, and Virginia has been perfect outside of 1 week. So yeah, I would rank Virginia ahead of Louisville, even though Louisville does have some nice wins, especially road.
No, they do have a good resume. At number 9. I have them Georgia Bulldogs. Man, Virginia. It's funny how many podcasts I listen to say Virginia's the luckiest team. And I agree. They have been playing with fire. But then they completely ignore the fact that Georgia has done the same fucking thing.
No, Georgia's lucky as hell.
Like Georgia, if Tennessee makes a field goal, that's a loss back in week, 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Right? And they were what? They were losing in the 4th to Ole Miss. They were losing and probably should have lost to Auburn with some crazy fucking calls. And then last week, very similar. But they did win these games. And the resume, the win against Ole Miss is gigantic. To be honest with you, man, Ole Miss and Tennessee are the wins that you look beyond that. Florida's a team with a losing record. Auburn's a team with a losing record. Kentucky's a team with a losing record. Syracuse got a terrible record. So they're clinging to the Tennessee and the Ole Miss one's great. But yeah, so the Dogs I have at number 9. Would you put Georgia ahead of Virginia? Try not to look at years past.
I know it's hard. It's like hard to say those two in the same sentence. Probably it's hard because like just looking at Georgia's they've won road games in really tough environments too. Do you equate that? Like, I mean, at Auburn, I know Auburn isn't very good, but that's a hard place to play. And at Tennessee, that's a hard-ass place to win, too.
True. But Virginia, you could say they won at Louisville, and then they went across the United States and won at Cal. But you know.
And then, I mean, what's a better loss? I think losing to Alabama's a better loss than losing at NC State. Even though at NC,
and that was the deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I put Georgia at 9. At number 8, I got the Rambling Wreck. How about this? Compare these resumes and tell me which one you think is better, right? It's an interesting exercise here. Because Georgia lost at home. Now, granted, it was to Alabama, who's in the top 10, and Georgia Tech lost to a team that was not ranked, but it was on the road, which I think you should factor that in. I had a hard time with this one, man. This is one where I can totally understand the argument if people think Georgia should be ranked ahead. But if you look at the schedule, Georgia Tech has a win, on the road at multiple places with teams with a winning record. Power 5 teams, I mean. They have multiple wins against teams with a winning record on the road. Georgia has 1. And that was kind of the selling point on me saying I think the Yellow Jackets should be ranked ahead of them. Despite, they actually have 3 wins against teams with a winning record. So
I would put Georgia Tech over Georgia because of the road wins. Georgia only has 2 road wins. I said that they're hostile environments. They've only hit the road twice.
Yeah. And they haven't played their non-con matchup. Remember, they didn't. Georgia Tech played a Power 5 in the non-con. Georgia will. It's just the end of the season, deeper than hate, or not deep, old-fashioned hate.
Even though it's not a road game.
Even though, it's not even a road game too. So I have the Rambling Wreck at number 8. At number 7, I got the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They do have a loss, but this is a loss they had to Arizona State in a game they had the lead with about a minute left. And then everything else has looked amazing. So at Sun Devil Stadium, a ranked team, very hard place to win. They did lose that game, but it was also with a backup quarterback, so should be noted. Texas Tech. Would you have Texas Tech ranked above Georgia or Georgia Tech?
I think so because of the margin of victory too. I mean,
I think the win at Utah, because they both had backup quarterbacks, is more impressive to me than any win on Georgia's resume.
Well, and shit, even at K-State, I mean, the way K-State had been playing coming into that game,
And
like,
Houston, they won at Houston. They have
Yeah.
wins, at teams with good records.
yeah,
So,
and yeah, I would rank Texas Tech ahead.
at number 6, I have Ole Miss, and this is a fun exercise. Ole Miss Texas Tech is a very interesting exercise to do here. Because both their teams lost on the road in games they had the lead. If anything, Texas Tech had the lead later in the game than Ole Miss did. But the real deal breaker for me was I thought Ole Miss has been a little bit more convincing. I don't know though, because you think about the Washington State game. I struggle with this. I'm going to be honest. Like, this was one. Do you think Ole Miss deserves to be ranked ahead of Texas Tech? Because I think
I know.
Yeah, I think it's very close. It's very close to me, but like, because Ole Miss, you could say, man, they only beat a bad Washington State team by 3, right? But they have wins to me. Like, you look at some of those wins, LSU and Tulane. Now, granted, those were at home, but how about at Oklahoma?
Yeah, they have I mean, what's a better road win, at Oklahoma or at Utah?
Both are really tough places.
I'll go at Utah, but not by much. But then
they won by more at Utah than what Ole Miss did at
I would go Texas Tech over Ole Miss.
It's really fucking close. I think Ole Miss's non-con was a little bit more challenging.
Agree.
Than Texas Tech's. That was the real breaker for me. At number 5, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're the highest ranked 1-loss team to me. And Florida State won to help them because now Florida State is not a team with a losing record. that saved them a little bit there, but also you look at those teams they played. Georgia won against Florida. Now I will say they did take a few other hits with Tennessee losing. Do you think they should be the highest ranked 1-loss team?
Yes, because of the gauntlet that they went in. Or
Missouri, they won at Mizzou.
Yeah.
Another team with a winning record. That's what I'm saying. You value the road wins against teams with winning records. Road wins in general, but especially against teams with winning records. And that's why I think Bama should be number 5. Man, are we really going to lose this fucking San Jose State game? This game was a tie game, like what, a minute and a half ago?
I know. It's hard to do when you get fucking college hoops on.
Unbelievable. Number 4, I got BYU.
They'll never lose in any sport. They're just gonna win every game.
You invited them to the NIL party. I told you it was over.
It's fucking Mormons.
They go to Lubbock this week, but if you look, man,
that's a loss.
They have. How about this though? They have 3 wins on the road against teams with winning records.
Yeah. Hey, I saw. Who was it? Was it Bud Elliott calling out their schedule? They've only beaten one team in the top 30 of power ratings. Who gives a fuck?
The power ratings are all jaded too, dude. Like what? Based off of what?
Preseason rankings.
Yeah.
Like that's all. A power rating is a fucking preseason rating.
Well, it depends which ones he's using too. Like I just don't trust a lot of that shit. To me, like, you go on the road, you beat good teams on the road. By definition, they're good fucking teams. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's hard to rank, a sport with 136 teams. You know what I mean? Like, but BYU has done it time and time again.
And they beat Utah at home. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They have they beat Utah at home, and then you add in 3 road wins against teams with winning records, and shit. 2 of the 3 were by double digits. I purposely think
the Iowa State win was incredible. I couldn't believe that they won that one.
Yeah, and this is another thing. some of those power ratings factor in roster talent, which is ridiculous, by the way.
I mean, who's rating that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I mean, I like Bud Elliott, but at the same time, I know he's also tied to recruiting rankings. So I mean, it pays to say that for him. He has a clear bias with recruiting rankings.
No wonder Vanderbilt's so power rated low because they don't like Pavia
or Cam Ward or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
Shit.
all the recruiting rankings I still think are the biggest fucking joke. At number 3 though, Ohio State. They stay. They stay. I mean, they beat Penn State. Nice win. Really can't. I don't think they won. They had that lead wire to wire. I feel like.
Yeah, they controlled Penn State. I don't think they should have covered, but they should have won the game. They were way better.
Yeah. And then at number 2, no changes. Texas A&M, they didn't play. But I still think they have the second best resume. And then at number 1 is the Indiana Hoosiers. None of the top 3 changed. But I think it's all razor thin. Indiana is the team that's blown out teams the most. I think that's why they deserve to be number 1. They also probably have the best road win of the teams. I know A&M won at Notre Dame, which, could end up better than at Oregon, but they also barely won at Notre Dame. Indiana went to Oregon and fucked them up. So, and I also think at Iowa, when you add Oregon and at Iowa, they're like 2 great road wins.
Ridiculous road wins.
They deserve to be number 1, man. I don't like the fucking Big Ten, but they deserve to be number 1 in my opinion. And I'm curious to see what they do tomorrow. I'm not going to watch that show because it sucks, but
they'll put Ohio State 1.
Yeah,
which is, I mean, Ohio State might be the best team, but based off of what we've seen on the field, how can you not have Indiana 1? They should be like, I don't even think it's close in terms of your resume.
Yeah, I mean, A&M has a blowout win at LSU, and they have another road win at Notre Dame, which is impressive. LSU is still a team that, could end up being 9-3. You know what I mean? So, but I doubt it. They'd have to win at Bama and at Oklahoma. But
you know what it comes back to? Nobody respects the at Iowa win the way they should, because they don't, which is ridiculous because we've seen Iowa win game after game after game, year after year against top 10 teams.
Because there's no propaganda. Like, Iowa doesn't care. Like, I feel like half these coaches are. You never see an interview with Kirk Ferentz being like, "Well, the Big Ten's the toughest conference." Every goddamn SEC coach is like propaganda fucking. Like, hey, we're the greatest fucking conference. Try doing this. Kirk Ferentz just doesn't. That's not his game. You know what I mean? He's not a politician. He's just a dude that coaches football, in my opinion.
He's trying to go 1-0.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the Dantabase top 25 right there. I think it's honest. I think it's good. I'd love to hear pushback and explain why, because you can't just say, well, this team, no hypothetical shit. You try to remove the hypothetical because the whole history of sport will tell you otherwise, then. So, anyway, that's the Dantabase top 25. Next up, we are going to go to the land down under. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys that the college football experience is brought to you by, as soon as we find my ads, Underdog Fantasy. Look, Underdog is your home for pick-em entries where you could win 5,000 times the amount of money you enter. I've been having a lot of fun with it this season. I mean, every year, but man, I've made some good money. Did get robbed last week though, because the Virginia Tech wide receiver had a catch called back where I thought I had hit this. But still, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I cashed for a couple $100. Underdog's awesome. You can find, they even have sides now too. So Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play $5, get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. That's our promo code TCESGPN at Underdog Fantasy. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is crushing it in college football, NFL, and NBA and college hoops. They threw us a great party out at Circa last March Madness. So shout out to them. Look, Rhythm is also giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model that you build and you could win $1,000. So hop on over there. Use the promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app. That's RITHMM, and that's going to get you 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm. Promo code SGPN25. All right, we are back. We are in the motherfucking land down under. So play the music. Welcome to the land down under. We can talk bullshit too. Yeah, 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 yeah. We talk hypothetical bullshit too. We talk bullshit. Yeah, yeah. All right. Hope you all enjoyed my karaoke. Yeah, you're looking live at Dundee doing karaoke in the land out under. Here you go, Mac. Pop quiz, hot shot. If these teams end up 9-3, who should be ranked first between USC, Texas, Miami, Missouri, Washington, and Vanderbilt? Go 1 to 5 there, 1 to 6, whatever that is, 6, right?
Yeah, we just did this exercise. I think this so I gotta figure out what this would mean down the stretch. I think it would probably go Texas 1 because that means they would get another big win coming down the stretch. Then I would go Vandy because that means they would have lost to Tennessee and they would have lost those 3 big road games.
What if the Texas losses Arkansas?
Well, then that's different. Yeah, that's different than A&M. Yeah.
Well, that means they beat A&M in Georgia, though.
Oh, shit. Yeah, yeah. So I think they're not going to get penalized for either of those. I think they dropped the Georgia game, and then they could potentially beat A&M because it's at home. If they beat one of those, they'll be number 1. Then Vandy.
But they'll be number 1. But what about between you? Like what you personally believe? If you were in charge of the college football playoff and those teams are on 9-3.
If Texas beats A&M or Georgia coming down the stretch, I think they should jump Vandy because they would have the tiebreaker head to head.
I would agree. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would probably go. God, I don't like Washington or USC's wins. They don't really have big wins either.
But if Washington went 9-3
and they beat Oregon.
Yeah, right. And then I think that would have them beating Oregon. I don't know. There's a good shot that a lot of these teams, Tennessee you could throw in this card too. You know,
that would be
Iowa too. You could throw Iowa in there too.
Well, that would mean too that they would have beat what's her name? Vanderbilt the last week.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go Texas, Vandy, USC, Washington, Missouri, Miami.
Yeah. Well, Miami has a win against Notre Dame, though, dude.
I know. But
Missouri doesn't have – what is Missouri's best win?
Well, but who's Miami now lost to? Miami's lost to – they lost to SMU and they lost to – they lost a home game.
To Louisville,
yeah,
one-loss team. I mean, look, I'm with you. I'm not one to defend Miami, but I'm just saying, they might have the best win out of all these fucking teams right now.
What if Miami loses to Virginia Tech though? That's their one loss.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I guess there's too much hypothetical. I don't know that I did a great job on this question. Next up, land down under. Who's the most counterfeit team out of these 4? And then, so I guess key in on that Texas. Continue talking about Texas. And power rank these 4 teams. They are Michigan, Louisville, Texas, BYU. Not on right now. Who do you think the best fucking team is out of those 4?
I think
if that was a 4-team playoff, who's winning the Natty?
BYU. I think they just find ways to win. I don't know how they keep doing it, but
what's crazy? I did this and I had it Louisville.
I could say Louisville. I'd probably go BYU, Louisville, Texas, and Michigan. Michigan's the one that's not winning it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Pop quiz, hot shot. Who will make the 12-team college football playoffs first? Not this year, but maybe this year.
Iowa.
Right? Miami Hurricanes, Florida Gators, Auburn Tigers, Iowa Hawkeyes. Who
Yeah,
will be in the college football playoffs first?
you're gonna make people jump off a cliff. Iowa.
And go 1-4 here.
Iowa, Miami, Florida, Auburn. Miami
Florida,
could make it by accident maybe one year.
I mean, they almost made it last year. They're fucking right there.
They got the fucking number 1 pick, and they still couldn't make it, though.
Next up, pop quiz. Which team will have the most wins in the state of Tennessee between the Vols, the Memphis Tigers, the Vanderbilt Commodores, and the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles? They're an FCS team, but I feel like we should let's just dive into this right now.
They're going to be one.
Right now in the FCS ranks, the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, where is this? Are currently, where the fuck is this? Why am I not seeing it? They are currently 9-0. 9-0. They could be 11-0 heading into the playoffs. Remember, there's only 11 games in FCS regular season. Or right now you have you have the likes of what is Vandy at? 7 right now? 7.
Yeah.
7-2 for Vandy. Tennessee is also 6-3. And then don't forget about the AAC, where Memphis is 8-1. Memphis could go 11-1, dude.
Memphis could go 11-1. I'm gonna go. They'll drop one though. 10-2. I'm gonna go Tech, Memphis, Vandy, Tennessee. Vols finish last.
I can tell you this: like the state of Tennessee football is up, minus Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, Derek Mason.
They're up. It's Eric in the chat saying, Colby, can Texas Tech beat can Tennessee Tech beat Kentucky in 2 weeks? I'm scared of that game.
Oh yeah, shit.
I mean, you might want to watch out, buddy. You might want to watch out.
Yeah. I forgot they played. Hilarious.
Next up, pop quiz. Which team in the state of Texas will have the most wins this season, Mac? TCU, Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, and rank all 4.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is a very good one. So currently, Texas Tech 8-1, TCU 6-2.
Yeah,
they've already had their second bye week, and then you have Texas at 7-2 and A&M at 8-0.
Is Texas the worst team out of this group?
Yeah, I feel pretty good with that statement.
Yeah, maybe TCU.
No, I think TCU would beat Texas.
I think they would too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go A&M 1, Tech 2. I'll go TCU 3, Texas 4. That's hilarious.
A&M's remaining schedule though at 8 wins, they have the same amount of wins as Texas Tech.
Yeah,
at Mizzou, home to South Carolina, home to Samford, not Stanford, Samford, and then at Texas. I mean, shit, 12-0 on the table.
Yeah, I think they go 11-1.
So you're saying Texas Tech that would then?
I think
lose.
Tech is going to trip up somewhere.
Texas Tech's remaining schedule home to BYU, home to UCF, and at West Virginia. That's why it fucking jaded deck of cards here.
What could go wrong? The money team.
What about the chances that TCU goes 10-2?
Their schedule's hard, I think, down the stretch.
They are home to Iowa State, then they are at BYU, at Houston, and then home to Cincinnati. That is hard.
That's a hard.
Yeah.
They're gonna drop at least 1, maybe 2.
So will you think they'll end up in last? Because Texas is bound to be at least what
9-3,
8-4, 9-3.
Yeah, I kind of think Texas and TCU finish with the same record, 8-4.
Yeah. Next up. All right. Let's get to this week's schedule. Which week 10 upset is most likely? Missouri knocking off Texas A&M and Columbia, Missouri there. LSU with the interim head coach, Frank Wilson, going into Tuscaloosa and winning. Penn State beating Kurt Cignetti in Indiana.
Hilarious.
Or Mississippi State becoming bowl eligible and taking down Georgia, and rank these 4, by the way.
I think Missouri's 1. This is 3 straight road games for A&M. So I'm gonna go Missouri 1, even though I'm not really that high on that team. Mississippi State 2, LSU 3, Penn State 4.
It's tough. I had a hard time with this.
The fact that we
I came away with Mississippi State 1 because they're off of the cocktail party. Georgia is.
And they have Texas on deck.
Yeah, where I was like, A&M had a bye week. Missouri's QB's out, but that was my number 2. And then LSU Bama, I was like, man, I saw Orgeron go in there and dominate once. Why couldn't what's that, my guy, not Frank Harris, but Frank Wilson do that? So I had a hard time with A&M Mizzou and LSU Bama, but I took A&M Mizzou 2, LSU Bama 3, Indiana Penn State 4. So somewhat agreeing there.
Wait, who would have thought we'd ever say that?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, which Week 10 Group of 5 upsets more likely? UTSA is at South Florida on a Thursday night, and UTSA is the heavy dog there. UNLV tripping up in Fort Collins with interim coach Tyson Summers for Colorado State. The Aztecs and Sean Lewis. Well, some people say that it's a hard ticket. As they go to the island and take on Timmy Chang and the Rainbow Warriors, or James Madison going to Huntington, West Virginia to take on Marshall, and power rank these 4, dude, because this one's tricky.
Number 1 is UNLV. They're just going to keep picking against them. They're so counterfeit. Why do I feel like number 2 is Hawaii? I think Hawaii off the loss, coming back home, and then I think you go Marshall 3, and then South Florida 4. UTSA ain't going to get up for that one.
Especially off of beating Tulane. But maybe they found something. I don't know. I think you're right, though. I think that's one you got to put 4th. UTSA against South Florida. But the other 3, I think I had it as UNLV, Colorado State 1, JMU Marshall 2, San Diego State Hawaii 3. But I had that JMU Marshall, San Diego State Hawaii one I thought was really close. So there's that. Next up, Land Down Under. Which Week 10 game do you want to see least?
First one.
Maryland is at Rutgers. Sam Houston State is at Oregon State. Stanford is taking on Chapel Bill in North Carolina, or the Citadel is heading to Ole Miss.
Maryland Rutgers is always one because it represents what has come about with this bullshit era that we're in. Sam Houston, Oregon State too.
I think, dude, the Stanford North Carolina gets saved a little bit because it's Frank Wright against Belichick, which was a battle that you would see.
AFC title game,
the Super Bowl when he was the OC of the Eagles, the Philly Special, right? I actually think the Citadel Ole Miss is like my favorite game on this list.
Yeah, because you got the triple versus the
and there's regionality. There's regionality there, so it's like,
why did Lane put that on the schedule? Like that's just a game that's gonna fuck with him.
Now he did get him after the VMI win, and that game was insane last week. They scored 28 in the 4th to come back and beat VMI.
It's
big time rivalry in the FCS there. Maryland at Rutgers is by far the worst one because at least Sam Houston, Oregon State, like they're still like Western teams to me. I know Sam Houston's in Texas, but it just sounds. Sam Houston sounds like a Wild West character. So to me, it's like, okay, what. Stanford, North Carolina is terrible, but the coaching element makes it kind of compelling. Rutgers, Maryland is fucking trash. That is just the trashiest fucking game.
Did Loxley survive?
He did survive. That was a bullshit tweet that I saw.
He's always surviving in advance at old Loxley.
Shout out to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ole Miss scheduling tough opponents at the end of the year again.
Yes. Well,
the Citadel does have wins at Arkansas and at South Carolina in the past, 20, 30 years.
Didn't they win in Florida?
No, Georgia Southern did with the triple. Georgia Southern did when they had the triple and they were in the FCS.
Hilarious.
Monken, I think, was their coach.
It was Monken, you're right.
Next up, all right, which game do you want to see most out of these? All right, these were kind of. You got Florida at Kentucky. You got Florida State at Clemson, which on the ACC network. That is a hilarious storyline here, by the way.
Whoa.
Hilarious storyline because they lobbied for TV ratings, a percentage of the TV ratings, and now this game's pushed to the ACC network. It's fucking hilarious. You have my favorite rivalry, the JFK Bowl, right? SMU at Boston College.
Hilarious.
Classic rivalry. And Houston at UCF. See, I went with second tier games to see what you were going to do here. Rank these 4 games and the value you want to see these things.
Oh God, probably Florida State, Clemson, just for entertainment purposes, just to watch both teams suck and where they're supposed to be. Florida, Kentucky too, just because that's always a rivalry game. Then SMU, Boston College, and Houston, UCF. Even though that's a big Friday night game for Houston's Big 12 title hopes.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right. Next pop quiz hot shot. Most likely ACC championship game here. Have fun with this one.
Oh, here we go again with the ACC.
Virginia Pitt. So currently,
they don't play, right?
They do not play.
Yeah.
So Virginia, remaining schedule, they have yet to lose in conference. They can afford to lose one game, right? They are home versus Wake Forest, at Duke, home versus Virginia Tech. Dude, it's so perfect for them. Like,
I think they have a decent shot against Duke. They gotta fuck this up, right?
They gotta fuck this up, right?
But then you have teams like Pitt that always fuck shit up.
Well, so Pitt's remaining schedule, they have a Notre Dame game that's irrelevant towards this race.
Mm-hmm.
They're at Georgia Tech and home to Miami.
So their schedule's significantly harder.
I mean, they have Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, Miami left. So three really good teams. But if there's still a shot, Pitt could get in going 1-1 in those ACC games.
If they beat Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's still
the Georgia Tech game's huge.
So then you have Georgia Tech, SMU, and you look at Georgia Tech's remaining schedule. They are at Boston College this week in a weird game because Bill O'Brien recruited Brent Key, coached him. There's a lot of familiarity there. Then they're home to Pitt, and then they're home to Georgia, or neutral against Georgia, irrelevant. And then you got the SMU Mustangs, who are at Boston College this week in the JFK Bowl, then home to Louisville, then at Cal.
So it probably can't be SMU Louisville.
SMU Louisville I think is probably eliminated, right?
Yeah. Duke has a good schedule. I'm gonna go Georgia Tech SMU.
Most likely.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely. Then Louisville Duke, then Virginia Pitt, then SMU Louisville.
Frank Wright was the head coach of the Colts ahead of Sirianni, though. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, have fun with this. I have no idea.
We'll know more after this weekend.
I think you're probably right. Georgia Tech, SMU, but I was thinking Louisville Duke also because Duke's at home taking on Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Duke has the offense to really fuck with Virginia too. All right, next up, only a couple more of these. Most likely MAC championship. Ohio against Central Michigan, Buffalo against Western Michigan, Miami, Ohio against Toledo, or Western Michigan against Miami, Ohio. And if you look at the current MAC race, Miami, Ohio is undefeated, 4-0, first place, followed by a 3-way tie of Buffalo, Western Michigan, and Ohio. And then you can't even rule out the 2-loss teams. That is Central Michigan, Toledo, Ball State, and even Kent State.
Hilarious.
The reason why you can't rule out the 2-loss teams is normally a 2-loss team gets in this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So you got these wacky Tuesday games, which a lot of times will be in snow. It's awesome. What do you think the most likely is? Because look, if you look at Miami, Ohio is in first place, undefeated. They're at Ohio tomorrow night. Then they're home to Toledo. Then they're at Buffalo. And then they're home to Ball State. They could easily go 1-3 in the final month.
They could. I think the most likely is Miami of Ohio, Western Michigan.
Western Michigan's remaining schedule. Home next week, next Tuesday, they are home to the Ohio Bobcats, catching them after the Battle of the Bricks. Then at Northern Illinois, and then at Eastern Michigan. They have a nice. Those are road spots.
Yeah,
But you got to think if they get Ohio, they have a nice path to get there.
it should be.
Then you have. I want to mention Toledo for a second, because you would think they're eliminated. But if Miami, Ohio loses to Ohio tomorrow, they have a nice remaining schedule. They are home to Northern Illinois, at Miami, Ohio, and circle that game. Then home to Ball State, and then at Central Michigan. You got to think they'd be favored in all of those but the Miami, Ohio game.
I agree.
Which could make it tricky. They could find their way back into the MAC championship.
Yeah, man, this fucking MAC. I'm gonna go Miami, Ohio, Western Michigan, then probably Ohio Central, then Buffalo Western.
Buffalo is 4-1. They have a hard schedule, but
I don't think they're that good. Actually, probably but Miami of Ohio and Toledo play one another. I guess if Miami of Ohio wins tomorrow, then Toledo beats them.
Yeah.
I
knew Frank Wright was the Philly special guy. He was the Philly special OC. But fun Tuesdays coming our way. Best team out of these right here: Missouri, Texas, LSU, Tennessee. Power rank all four.
Texas won. Kind of think LSU's too.
I agree. I actually think LSU is my number one.
They could be. I'll go Texas, LSU, Tennessee, Missouri.
I go LSU, Texas, Tennessee, Missouri.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, you have which coaching hire would make the most sense? Eli Drinkwitz to LSU, James Franklin to Auburn, PJ Fleck to Oklahoma State, or Charles Huff to Arkansas? And power rank these.
Franklin to Auburn. I think it actually from one toxic to another toxic. Fleck to OK State. That makes sense. That's probably 2. And then probably Drinkwitz 3, and then Huff 4. I know he worked at Alabama and he was in Huntington. I don't know. I feel like he could get another one.
I just, to me, I was just trying to think of ones that were kind of like people hadn't mentioned. Fleck to Oklahoma State. I did one more of these exercises. So, what about this right here? The ones that make the most sense. Dave Clawson to Stanford, John Summerall to Auburn, Clark Lee to Florida, or Chris Peterson to Penn State.
Ooh, Chris Peterson's a good one.
I don't think people are talking about that enough now. I know he's a West Coast guy.
Does he want back in?
I don't know, but I know he's already in LA every week. So like UCLA would be the first one, but that's such a shit show. I don't think he would take it.
Yeah.
Right. But I did wonder about if Chris Peterson would be interested in Stanford, because he's a Northern California guy. Right. But then I thought, well, what would be the splashiest? Penn State with not getting Matt Rule. Can they even make a splash hire?
No.
I think Chris Peterson's the only guy you could get that would be a fucking splash hire for them.
Should have just kept Franklin.
I was thinking about this, like where, if you're the alumni, or if you're an alum at Penn State, like what is the one that you're like, fuck yeah, we got better? And I the only thing I could come up with Chris Peterson.
Yeah, but they even Penn State, I don't even know if they would be all in on that hire. They have to,
but he's better than he's a better head coach than James Franklin. That's the only one where I would say like, okay.
I will go Clawson to Stanford 1. That one makes complete sense.
I think that one could happen. That one could happen. So
then probably Summerall to Auburn, just because he's already in the South. I don't think Florida would hire the Vandy coach. I'll go Peterson 3, Lee 4. Even though I think he's a good coach.
All right, and that concludes our show. We have the college basketball experience show coming up as I sweat out this Idaho money line against Washington State. Folks, give Moneyline Mac a follow on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget, the college basketball experience will be up very shortly here. So yeah, full season. We're 2-a-days, man. 2-a-days.
Oh yeah.
Till next time, folks. This is the college football experience. You better start thinking about yours. Can't wait for the battle of the motherfucking bricks. And we out of here.
Run and shoot.